Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome back to Grizzly Bear Sims YouTube channel. Thank you for coming back for another episode. Yeah, this is an old familiar sight, isn't it? Me coming out the back door and gathering up a few eggs there in our egg crate. Yes, we're back on Goldcrest Valley. This is Stevie's edit, and this is our first day of winter, early winter. Now, you may, if you have been following my series on Lawfolds or even Colborough Park Farm, you know that I have talked about um, placing the new Seasons mod into this map, playing this map, the final stages or the final days of what will be these episodes. And I believe this is going to be episode number 26 of Goldcrest Valley Stevie's Edit. And well, it's just not possible to do, unfortunately, without a bunch of different complications and having to maybe seriously start over and whatnot. Even though I'm not that concerned about any crop damage and stuff that the Seasons mod would introduce, there were a few other little issues, and I think that probably, excuse me, I think that we will probably end this series once we get done with winter. But then again, maybe I will change my mind. It kind of depends. I mean, right now I've got three series going, and it's possibly getting to a point to where maybe it's a little bit too much. I have talked about maybe doing some live streaming on YouTube on the odd occasion, so that's something that is still kind of in the mix, up in the air. And basically, it's been probably about 3 weeks or so since I have released an episode of Goldcrest Valley, and our subscriber numbers have increased quite significantly since then. So it's possible that there are subscribers who have joined this channel that may not have noticed that I did any episodes on Goldcrest Valley, or maybe you thought that series was dead. So I will just basically take a moment and just kind of familiarize you with what we've got going on here. So we started this map, we started playing this map, Goldcrest Valley, Stevie's Edit, a couple of weeks after Farm Sim 17 was released. When Stevie released this map, we started playing it. It's an older version than what's available out there, just because we kind of got far along, and then he made some changes, and I really didn't feel like going through the trouble of resetting the map and everything. So we're going to go ahead and go jump in a tractor and head up to our cow pasture, because we need to get some animals fed. But this so this version of the map, we started playing with a sort of a manual seasons approach. There's a link down in the show notes that will take you to a blog post that will kind of describe what I'm sort of talking about and how I approached it with seasons. It's a very manual process, and of course this was well before the FS17 seasons mod became available. And of course, even at this recording date that you're going to be watching this on Friday the 20th of January, I believe, at least as of the day that I'm recording this, which I'm recording this on Monday, the 16th of January. It's Martin Luther King Day here in the U.S., and it's a holiday for me. And so still, that mod is a work in progress. It's beta. It's not been released to the general public just yet. So, but I began playing this map with sort of a seasons approach in mind. And really what all that means is I just, sort of manually thought about how we would plant based on some information that I obtained from several sources, including like the state of Oklahoma, state of Texas, state of Nebraska, some of those agricultural type websites. Often, most of them are university based. And determine planting schedules and such for the various different locales, and again sort of base this not on any sort of specific sort of specific location, even though it's somewhat you know, everyone sort of thinks that this map is either based in the Pacific Northwest of the United States or maybe even Colorado. I'm sort of playing it as if it's based in Colorado, just because that's where I happen to obviously live, and so it's sort of suiting for that. But again, sort of thought about it, used a mod called the Seasons Display mod, which is available through Modding Central, and you can find a link to my mod spreadsheet by going to grizzlybearsims.com, and you'll see a complete mod list for that. So this is obviously the big Pecan mixing wagon. I did a review, 5-minute review on this particular mixing wagon. If this is the first time you're seeing this in a video, I would suggest that you go and check out that video. So we're going to jump over here into our little telehandler. This is our favorite. You'll see this little Manitou on most maps that I play, just simply because it is a very, very nice telehandler. What I like about it is the fact that it's not articulating like the JCB. I think, if memory serves me correctly, the JCB sort of articulates the front wheels, or maybe the boom itself is mounted under the front wheels or something. It's a little awkward to get in and out. This is not very difficult at all. And if you are, you know, if your pallet or maybe bale, you know, if your pallet and bale handling skills lack a little bit to be desired, similar to mine, then obviously having a non-articulating telehandler, if the telehandler is your piece of equipment of choice, is the best option. So we're just going to load up our mixing wagon because, as I said, we need to get our cows fed here with some mixed rations and other things. And so the deal with this mixing wagon, if you've been using the smaller in-game one, you know that typically the ratio for total mixed rations, or power food as it's being called in 2017, is typically 1 bale of straw, 2 bales of hay or grass, and a bale of silage, or you can actually alternate and go 1 bale of straw, 2 bales of silage, and then 1 bale of hay or straw, grass or hay, to get you the total 16,000 capacity. Now this is a 64,000 capacity mixing wagon, so we have to change our ratios just a bit. So basically what we're going to go with, because we've got a lot of silage, our silage clamp is full. I don't remember how much silage we actually have, but we've got quite a bit, and I'm not going to waste our time me driving over there and taking a look at it. But what we're going to do is we're going to grab 4 bales of hay. So basically, yeah, 4 bales of straw. We're going to do 4 bales of hay, and then we're going to fill the rest of it with silage. So our hay is the lighter green color bales here. Again, if you've watched the series, you know that my approach, my goal was, you know, could we store up enough, accumulate enough hay and straw and what have you to actually survive the winter. So, you know, actually survive, not only survive the winter, but survive the first portions of spring and even summer, until we could mow grass again until we could basically handle our first wheat or barley harvest to get more straw, etc. So that's been sort of our goal, our challenge, our main job in all this. And I think that we've managed to accumulate enough, I think, enough of all of those elements: hay, straw, grass, etc. Now we've got, I'll just quickly show you here on our animal inventory, we've got 123 sheep, 202 pigs, and 203 cows. So we're running very heavy on animals here on this farm, unlike Lawfolds, where we will eventually get into doing some animals, but it will be mainly sheep on Lawfolds. And let's just go ahead and fill up this. So we're going to need a bunch of this. We're going to need like almost 32,000 liters of silage dumped into our mixing wagon. So I'm going to do a couple of these buckets, and then I'm going to do an edit just so that you don't watch me, because I am liable to spill this stuff all over the place. That's not too bad, I suppose. That's one bucket. And here comes our second bucket. And of course, just due to the available area of space that we have available to us on this map up here at the dairy farm, this is the only map that I'm currently playing where you will see this large capacity mixing wagon, because let's face it, I don't have the room on Coldwater Park Farm, and at present moment I'm not really planning on doing dairy operations on Lawfolds, and so that's just kind of how that goes. So basically what we're wanting to do here is we're wanting to go ahead and fill the rest of the pecan up with that tree's in an awkward place, but oops, that's okay. We're wanting to just go ahead and top the rest of this off in silage. So I'm going to stop talking because I'm going to do an edit here at some point and cut this out, and I will be back whenever we have this mixing wagon filled with silage. See you soon. Alright, well there we go. We've got our mixing wagon is now full, and we will just double check that to make sure we have total mixed rations. We do. We have greens all the way across. So we have 64,000 liters of product in the mixing wagon, and I realized that I got just a little bit too small of a tractor to possibly do this job with. I grabbed kind of the first thing that was easy to get to, but I probably could have used a little bit more horsepower to both drive the mixing wagon and drive the tractor at the same time. And I've got a little bit of spillage there that probably doesn't amount to a whole lot of nothing that's in the way there, that's causing me all sorts of problems. Really? So that amount of spillage is probably just a few thousand liters. So I tell you what, there's more than one way to accomplish this task. I'll be right back. Alright, so when you're challenged with a problem like this, what do? Well, go get the challenger. I should have brought this tractor up here anyway. It is one of my favorite tractors in this game. I do like this particular model. It is a mod, and you will find it in my mod spreadsheet unless I drive it off the side of the cliff there. But no, it is a fantastic modded tractor, and there we go. Let me just zoom the camera out just a little bit, and that little bump of silage there should not cause us a problem. We will come out here, and it will run the mixing wagon and drive the tractor all at the same time. And let's see how we want to do this. F1 menu, tip side left. We want to change that to tip side right, and pull up here and get ready to dump. And let's unload. And let's take a look at watch our levels come up here. We're coming up on power foods, good. We're going to need to move some grass in there manually, not a problem. And that will definitely work for now. Now these winter episodes, to prevent them from being too painfully the same, because we basically have no farming to do in this particular series anyway. We are basically going to just be tending to animals. That includes cleaning up after them. That's going to include taking care of the obviously collecting the wool bells from the sheep, because they're full, and we need to actually get down there and move some of those so that we don't run the risk of losing any option to make money. And let's see, what are we doing? We're doing grass, aren't we? So probably this episode will be the only episode that you're going to see of me at least feeding cows. I may obviously feed pigs or something like that on one of the other videos that I do for the winter stuff, but this is probably going to be the only time that you will see me do this. I will do the rest of the feeding off camera, just to basically prevent any sort of boredom from setting in, because again, with the fact that we're not doing any farming at all in the winter, because, well, you just don't do that. Yeah, I think you get the idea. Alright, so we need to clean up there, so we will go ahead, and I guess we should have done that before we changed out our bell spike there, but not a problem. We will go ahead and just drop that and come back around and grab our bucket. We'll also grab the spilt silage from a previous episode. I don't think this was spilt necessarily today. Yep, look at that. 793 liters of spilt silage in that little case couldn't pull that mixing wagon over it. But hey, you know, 64,000 liters of total mixed rations, that's, you know, that's quite a bit, especially, and I do admit I grabbed the wrong tractor. But you know, hey, like I said, when you're faced with a challenge, grab the challenger. And of course, we're also going to be selling some crop and such as that. So my plan, anyways, was to hopefully be able to catch some, basically catch some great demands during the winter months, and you know, sell as and when we had great demands. I think that there's a great demand right now going on for wood chips, and we're not really doing any forestry on this series, so we will just kind of wait and see how that goes. If you know, we have a great demand that comes up for any of the crops that we actually have in our storage, then we will go ahead and take advantage of that. Alright, well that pretty much will bring us up current on our cows, I believe. Let's see, while we're up in this neck of the woods, why don't we just go ahead and drive over to our pigs with this bucket, and we'll clean up after the pigs. This is a fantastic map, and by no means is this thing dated at all. Now Stevie's working on a new map, which is going to be based on the original Goldcrest Valley footprint. So, you know, if you're sort of tired of Goldcrest Valley looking maps that are being called something different, then maybe that map might not be for you. But if you like Stevie's maps, I know I certainly do, then that might be one that you'll want to take a look at when it's ready for release. Stevie has been posting almost daily updates, sometimes multiple updates per day on his Facebook page. And so yeah, so it's going to be, I think it'll be it's going to be a beautiful map, because Stevie has developed it. But yeah, it's going to be basically using the footprint of the original Goldcrest Valley, or maybe even this version of Goldcrest Valley, since he made a lot of fixes. You know, Stevie fixed a lot of the problems that were found or discovered in the early days of the FS17 release and the default Goldcrest Valley map. When he created this map, he fixed a lot of those problems. Like, for instance, you might remember the you know, the silage clamps, silage bunkers, whatever you want to call them. Those things, in some, well, I think even in this version of Goldcrest Valley, the default one, they leaked chaff or silage from underneath the clamp. I know it did that on Sosnovka as well. Well, anyway, Stevie fixed that on this version of Goldcrest Valley, and it is basically a very, very secure silage clamp, and it doesn't have a lot of the problems that some of the other maps have had, including the default Goldcrest Valley. And I think that's been somewhat of a challenge for some map developers, map modders, as well. We're just going to pour this grass down on top of your back there, Mr. Sheep. Hope you don't mind. Is that, you know, when they have created maps, they have essentially had that problem with the silage clamps or silage bunkers, again, whatever you want to call them, where they basically leak chaff from underneath the bunker itself, either into the adjacent bunker if there's multiple bunkers side by side, or into a into the outside. All right, let's see. I think what I'm going to do is going to park this here. I think we've got a few extra minutes, and I'm going to just basically grab a hold of this pallet fork here, and I'm going to head back up to the sheep, and I'm going to clear out a couple of those pallets of wool, and most likely in the next video that I come back with, it'll be in the second day of winter, so it'll be midwinter at that particular point in time. Of course, I've got quite a bit of work to do off camera just to basically keep productivity running at 100%, because when I fast forward through the day, obviously the cows will have consumed more food, and cleanliness and everything will drop, and all those kind of variables. So I will be doing a lot of that stuff off camera, and but yeah, the next video that you see at Goldcrest Valley will be basically midwinter, day 2 or day 11, as is the case. And we will move this out of the way, and they should be able to respawn. And just what I'm going to do for now is I will just park these right over here, and park that right there, and then I will get a second one just for good measure. And like I said, it should, at this particular point in time, it should go ahead and respawn. Let me get my pallet forks just right. Yeah, I'm still kind of pallet challenged. It's okay. It's funny, and I absolutely do not mean to brag. That's just not the type of person that I am. But I have, in real life, I have driven a forklift. I used to work at a manufacturing plant back in I was out of college, but it was pretty much near college age time frame, a few years out of college before I got into the IT world, and because I went to college for something completely different, so I worked at a manufacturing plant that manufactured laminate for countertop type use, and I used to drive a forklift, and we're just going to grab this with these pallet forks, because as I've said before, sometimes it's a little easier to handle bales with a pallet fork, and we're just going to put these over here and get rid of that bale. Okay, so anyway, I worked at this manufacturing plant, and this manufacturing plant made laminate for countertops, as I said. And so I used to drive a forklift, and it's much easier now I'm not saying that I could do that today. I mean, that's been probably 30 years ago, almost 30 years ago. But it's much easier in real life, because even if you're in cab, which I try to do some in cab work, even though I haven't really done anything today because it's not warranted it, but even in cab, the perception, and maybe it's depth perception and just spatial awareness and everything around you is not as good as it is in real life, and so it is a little bit harder to basically stick your forks into a pallet in Pharmer 17 versus the way it works in real life. All right, well, I think that I think for now, anyways, I think I'm going to call this an episode. We've pretty much tended to the cows, so I will continue to do that on a daily, basis. I'm going to go ahead and actually off camera top them up now, and and I think that one thing that I'm going to start doing, and you may actually notice this even before you watch this video, is at least for me, and I don't know if the other my other YouTube friends find this to be the case as well, but in preparation of these videos, again, just so that things don't become so such a repeat of itself, especially if we're doing multiple maps. And most everybody I know, they do play 2 or 3 different maps sort of at the same time, and they're producing episodes and content and everything for that. But I find that I spend a lot of time off camera, obviously playing the game and enjoying the game, because again, I wouldn't do this if I didn't actually enjoy playing the game. But setting things up, setting the story up for something to happen next, and again, sort of in an effort not to make things become too much of the same thing over and over and over. So what I'm getting at is, I think that that's some of the stuff that I'm going to live stream, is when I'm tending to the animals, which is what I'm going to do as soon as I stop this recording. As I'm going to go ahead and check their water levels, and probably go ahead and go down and remove the remaining wool pallets and get those ready to put on a trailer, which we'll probably do in the next episode. Is I do so much of this stuff off camera, and I think that's some of the content that I may actually live stream on YouTube, just because, hey, I'm playing the game anyway. And if I live stream it, if a few of you watch, if you have questions, if you post comments, it might kind of make that interactivity a little bit more enjoyable for everybody, because I'll have someone to talk to. You guys will obviously be hopefully chatting with me, asking questions, whatever. Maybe we're just talking about the weather, whatever the case might be. But anyway, it'll help that time go by a little bit quicker. So anyway, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you watching and coming back for this episode. Again, Goldcrest Valley, this is not going to be something that's going to string along forever and ever. It's just that we do have a story that we wanted to tell, and that story was whether or not we could sort of do a manual approach to seasons, and most importantly, whether or not we were able to accumulate enough hay and straw and grass and silage and all that stuff to tend to a large dairy farm, and whether we could make enough money to sustain my family, of course, across the seasons. And all that is looking pretty good. Of course, we've got income coming in from our wind turbine there. That was part of the map. So anyway, this is Stevie's map, Stevie's edit. If you're interested in playing this, you'll find a link to where you can download this in my mod spreadsheet. You can get that mod spreadsheet at grizzlybearsims.com. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.